تحياتي أصدقائي، رجعنا لكم بفيديو جديد. بهذا الفيديو حنحل exercise ل chapter 4 chapter Resistors والتابع ل unit electricity، ورح نحل تحديدا exercise 23 من كتاب Everest. Consider the adjacent circuit R1, R2, R3, R4 and R5 are given. I is equal to ampere, the main current. This is the main current. R5 is the resistance of a lamp whose rated power is 1.5 watt. فإذا هذا rated power للlamp. When the lamp works normally, it will consuming 1.5 watt. Anyway, question A. Show that the equivalent resistance between A and E is R equivalent 4.5 ohm. Between A and E كل هالcombination حنعمل لهم grouping. هدول هن resistors between A and E. وبالتالي المطلوب نعملهم R equivalent. اوكي، كيف حنبلش؟ طبعا نحن بنبلش بالresistors الواضح نوع الcombination تبعهم لحتى نعملهم grouping بحسب إن كانوا in parallel or in series. فمنلاحظ هون between A and E R2 and R3 are connected in 2 points. هذه أول point R2 R3 connected to it, and also we have R2 and R3 terminals هدول كمان connected on second point اللي هي ال E. طبعا الأميتر ما بناخده in consideration لأنه هو for only measurement the current، ما خصه بالresistors هون. Anyway حنكتب R2 and R3 are in parallel. نحن بنعرف إنه ال R equivalent للparallel بيكون if we have two resistors رح يكون ضربهم over summation لإلهم. R2 is 9, R3 is 36. Okay, 9 plus 36, 7.2 ohm. Okay, so the equivalent resistor between for R2 and R3 is R23 is equal 7.2 ohm. وبالتالي حيكون عنا for R2 and R3 R equivalent R23. ننتقل ل another combination. بنلاحظ إنه ال R1 و R5 also are connected in 2 points. This is the first point R1 and R5. حتى لو ما أخذنا ال point B لأنه في wire another wire فينا نعتبر إنه R1 و R5 مرتبطين إما بال A أو بال B, and even this terminal for R1 and R5 are connected in the same point which is C. وبالتالي حيكون عندي 2 points connected to R1 and R5, so R1 and R5 are in parallel. Also R15 is equal R1 times R5 over R1 plus R5 equal 12 times 6, 12 plus 6, 4 ohm. So the R equivalent for R1 and R5 is R15, which is equal 4 ohm. Okay, R15 are equivalent for R1 and R5. Now بنلاحظ إنه ال R15 وال R4 connected in one point which is C. ولما بيكون عندي connection between two resistors in one point بنقول those resistors are in parallel. So R15 and R4 are in series. So R154, the R equivalent of R15 and R4 is equal. بحالة السيريز بس بنجمعهم مع بعض plus R4, which is equal 4 plus 8 equal 12 ohm. So R154 is equal 12 ohm. Okay. And now the grouping of those two resistors is R145. Finally بنلاحظ إنه ال R145 connected to R23 in 2 points. هيدي أول point common point وهيدي common point, وبالتالي بنقول إنه هدول in parallel. So آخر step R145 and R23 are in parallel. So R equivalent, بما انه قال لي بالquestion انه between A and E لازم يطلع معنا R equivalent. R equivalent is R145 times R23 over R145 plus R23 equal 12 times 7.2 over 12 plus 7.2. راح يطلع معنا الانسر is 4.5 ohm. So R equivalent is equal 4.5 ohm as mentioned in the question. Okay, خلونا نرسم ال R equivalent النهائية للcombination between A and E. This is R equivalent والterminals اللي لها هن A and E، وبالتالي حتكون بقلب السيركت هي بهالطريقة هي. From this to this. وطبعا لا ننسى انه في عندي I main current بيبقى نفسه. Anyway خلونا ننتقل للبارت الثاني من الكويشن. Double I deduce the voltage across the battery. What are the terminals of the battery? The terminals is A and E. This is the terminals of the battery, and also they are the terminals of R equivalent. So double I، فأنا إذا عرفت ال voltage across R equivalent كأنه عرفت ال voltage across the battery. Applying Ohm's law across R equivalent that construct the triangle for this law. So U R I. نحن بحاجة لحتى نعرف الفولتج. So hide the voltage. الفولتج هو UAE is equal أي R equivalent وأي current الكرنت اللي حيفوت بالR equivalent which is the main current I. R equivalent is 4.5. The main current is 2 ampere. Plug this in calculator. We finally get the voltage across the equivalent resistor, and even for the battery is 9. Since R equivalent is in SI unit which is ohm, the current also in SI unit which is ampere, we will get the answer in SI unit, and we know that the SI unit of the voltage is volt. Okay. Question B. Determine the value of the current measured by the ammeter. What does the ammeter measure? The ammeter measure the current I2. الكرنت I2 هو اللي حيفوت أو رح يعمل passing through the ammeter، وبالتالي الريدنج للاميتر هي حتكون for the current I2. وبالتالي أنا إذا عرفت ال I2 the value of I2 حنعرف شو هي ال reading، لأنه ال reading رح تكون هي ذات ال I2. بنلاحظ إنه ال R2 ال resistance اللي لها معي إياها and ال voltage across R2 اللي هو AE صار معي، وبالتالي بسهولة فيني أنا طلع the current measured by the ammeter. So question B, applying Ohm's law across R2, construct the triangle. The voltage is AE and the terminals la R2 is AE, and we need to use R2, and the current passing through R2 is I2. We need to find I2, hide I2. I2 is equal UAE over R2. The voltage is 9. The resistance of R2 is also 9. Finally, we will get that the current is 1. Since the voltage is in volts, the resistance of resistor is an ohm, where these units are in SI unit. We will get that also the current in SI unit, and we know that the SI unit of the current is ampere. So I2 is equal 1 ampere. Next question. C. Calculate the values of the current I3 and I4. I3 passing through R3. معنى الفاليو of R3 معنى الفولتج across R3 اللي هو UAE، لأنه terminals of R3 هن A and E، وبالتالي UAE. And for I4 we will see how to get I4. Let's start with R3. So بما أنه أنا عندي R3 وعندي الفولتج across R3 اللي هو UAE، فيني استعمل also Ohm's law. C. Applying Ohm's law across R3, construct the triangle for this slope, U, AE also. We will use this time R3, and the current passing through R3 is I3. We need to find I3, so I3 is equal UAE over R3. UAE is 9 and R3 is 36. Plug this in the calculator. Finally, we will get that the current is 0.25. UAE in SI unit, R3 in SI unit, also the current in SI unit, and we know the SI unit of the current is ampere, so I3 is equal 0.25 amp. So for I4, let's go back to the figure. بنلاحظ انه the voltage across R4 unknown اللي هو UCE. انا معي الفاليو of the resistance او معي resistance of this resistor، بس ما معي لا الكرنت ولا UCE، وبالتالي ما فيني استعمل اومز لو. بس من ميل التاني حفكر بغير الاومز لو، حنفكر بجنكشن رول. الجنكشن رول بتقلي انه summation of current in is equal summation of current out. فat point E حيفوت ال I4 على point E حيكون in and also ال I2 and also I3. وحسب ال conservation of charge المفروض يظهر من هيدي البوينت المين current، لأنه المفروض هيدا المين current يكفي طريقه للنيجاتيف بول. طلع من البوزيتيف بول I، المفروض يروح على النيجاتيف بول also the current I، وبالتالي حيكون ال I4 plus I2 plus I3 equal I. وهيدي الجنكشن rule. So we will write that for question C, applying the junction rule at point E. هرسم الرسمة. This is the point E. E2 is I2 is in, I4 is in, and I3 is in, but I is out this point. So summation of I in is equal summation of I out. بالآن حنكتب كل شيء عم بيفوت عندي هاي النقطة يلي هن I2 plus I3 plus I4 equal summation of I out. عندي بس one current عم يظهر من هيدي النقطة which is current I. Plug the values of the currents. I2 is 1 plus 0.25. I4 is unknown, we need to find it, and I were given bil question which is 2 ampere. So 1.25 plus I4 is equal to linear equation. بناخد ال 1.25 للميل الثاني بتصير negative, so I4 is equal to minus 1.25, and finally we get that I4 is equal 0.75 amp. Okay. Question D, I. show that UAC is equal 3 volts. UAC. Okay. To find UAC, we don't have I5 and UAC, but we have R5. We cannot use Ohm's law in this case. ليش ما فينا نستعمل Ohm's law؟ Ohm's law بيتطلب إنه أنا أعرف two quantities لحتى أطلع الثالثة، وبالتالي أنا ما معي ال I5 وما معي terminals of R5 يلي هن A and C، وبالتالي ما فيني استعمل Ohm's law. شو حنستعمل بهالكيس؟ اللي حنستعمله إنه أنا معي ال AE، وبذات الوقت ال AE هي عبارة عن AC plus CE. The voltage of AE UAE is equal UAC plus UCE، وبالتالي في حال عرفنا ال UCE بسهولة فينا نحسب ال UAC من ال law of addition of voltage. So let's try to know the voltage UCE. UCE هي terminals لل R4، وبالتالي حنستعمل ال current of R4 يلي هو I4 وال R4 to find UCE. Okay. So question D I. Applying Ohm's law across R4. Let's construct the triangle URI. The terminals of R4 is CE, and we have R4, and the current flow through R4 is I4. We need to find UCE, so UCE is equal R4 I4. R4 is given 8 ohm. I4 calculated is 0.75. Plug these values in the calculator. Finally, we will get that the voltage UCE is equal 6. Since all the values here in SI unit, we will get that also the voltage in SI unit, and we know that the voltage, the SI unit of the voltage is volt. And now we will apply law of addition of voltages, applying law of addition Okay, UAE is equal the voltage UAC plus UAE. دايما نتذكر انه البوينت اللي عم بنبلش فيها بأول فولتج، واللي عم ننتهي فيها لازم ننتهي فيها بآخر فولتج. Okay, UAE calculated before وهي 9 volt. UAC is unknown، نحن المفروض نحسبها UAC. And finally plus UAE. Okay, this is not UAE, this is C. Okay, UCE is 6 volt. Linear equation, 9 minus 6 is equal UAC. Finally we get that UAC is equal, since in 9 minus 6 the unit of this quantities are volt, we will get that also the unit of UAC is in volt, which is 3 volt. Okay. Next question, deduce I1 and I5. دايما لما بيجيني deduce المفروض نعتمد على الكويشن السابق. I1 through R1 and I5 through R5. Okay. بنلاحظ انه R1 the terminals of R1 is B and C, but since B A is connecting wire, we can suppose that R1 has the terminals A and C. Okay, the current passing through R1 is I1, so we can use Ohm's law since the voltage UAC is known, and also the resistance of resistors. So part I, double I, applying Ohm's law across R1, construct the triangle U, R, I, which voltage AC, the resistor R1, and the current is I1. We need to find I1, hide I1. I1 is equal UAC over R1. UAC is 3, R1 is 12. Finally, we get that the value of the current I1 is 0.25 amperes. So I1 is equal 0.25 amp. نلاحظ انه نحن حققنا الديديوس لانه استفدنا من الانسر اللي طلعنا بالطلب السابق. فينا بسهولة نقول انه R1, the voltage across R1 is AC. UAC هو حتى نقول ليش أخذنا ال UAC. UAC is equal UAB plus UBC. UAB connecting wire 0, so UAC هي نفسها ال UBC. لهالسبب أنا بدل ما أكتب إنه terminals of R1 is BC كتبت terminals of R1 is AC لأنه ال UBC هي ذاتها UAC. هيدي مش مطلوبة بس حبيت أحكيها كرمال اللي ما عرف ليش هيك طلعنا. ننتقل لنحسب ال I5. كمان المفروض نحن ب I5 نعتمد على ال UAC. ال I5 passing through R5. R5 التيرمينالز AC و AC ال UAC عنا إياها وال value of resistance عندي إياها، وبالتالي فيني أطبق Ohm's law. Applying Ohm's law across هالمرة R5. Let's construct the triangle UAC, the terminals of R5, and the current passing through R5 is I5. So we need to find I5. I5 is equal UAC over R5 3 over 6 0.5 amp. So I5 is equal 0.5 amperes. Last question. Does the lamp glow normally? Justify. Lamp, where is the lamp? حسب ال question, R5 is the resistance of a lamp. So R5 considered as a lamp أو هي lamp considered as a resistor. والrated power تبعها 1.5. فأنا كيف حأعرف إذا اللامب glows normally إذا كان the power of this lamp is equal to the rated power. Let's check that. So triple I حنحسب الباور. نحن بنعرف إنه الباور for a resistor is equal the resistance of the resistor times I the current square. Which power? We need to find power for R5, so power number 5, and resistor R5, and the current is I5 to find the power of the lamp, which is R5. So the power is equal, the resistance of this resistor is 6, the current passing through R5 calculated 0.5 squared, so P5 is equal 1.5. Since the current in SI unit, the resistance of resistor in SI unit, we will find that also the power in SI unit, and we know that the SI unit of the power is watt. وبالتالي بنكتب له since the power of the lamp is equal to the rated power، يعني الباور لللامب حاليا هو P5 is equal للrated B rated, which is equal 1.5 watt. Then the lamp glows normally. لاحظت شغلة إنه بquestion B ما كتبنا الريدنج إذا حتكون positive ولا negative للأميتر. عرفنا إنه الأميتر حيعمل لي measuring للكرنت يلي هو I2، وحسبنا لل I2 is equal 1 ampere، لكن الريدنج حتكون the reading is negative، يعني الأميتر حيعطيني I2 is equal minus 1 ampere. والسبب طبعا لأنه بنلاحظ إنه الأميتر عنده 2 terminals COM and A. Since COM is at the positive terminal أو هو قريب من البوزيتيف بول، رح تطلع معي reading negative. لو كان الكوم من الميل الثاني يعني قريب من النيجاتيف حتطلع معي reading positive يعني plus 1 amps. وهيك بنكون خلصنا حل الاكسرسايز، طويل شوي، ان شاء الله ما تكونوا مليتوا واستفدتوا. بنشوفكم بفيديو آخر قريبا. سلاما أصدقائي.